Here we go.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Let's
We
do
ready?
this.
Yep.
Do it.
All right, we back. We back and man,
Round two.
round 2, episode 3, and we ready to rock and roll. It's been a whirlwind. I would
Crazy
lot
week.
of people have reached out, and a lot of positive things. A lot of people, sending just good messages of what they think and things they think we might need to do and all that kind of good stuff. And it really means a lot. And before I forget, y'all please go to our YouTube channel at Boys in the Sip and subscribe and like. It really helps. So just please go to that YouTube channel, subscribe and like. But it's just been it's been awesome. I love it. I love the feedback, and I think it's like I was telling you, we're just gonna keep getting better and better. And it's just like this with this production. I mean, it just took Travis over an hour to set all this up, and he's got new toys and new camera angles. And I mean, Travis, how long did you slept?
Yeah.
Upgrade.
Yeah. So when y'all reached out a couple weeks ago, I was like, yeah, I've got the equipment, to do a single shot podcast.
Yeah.
And then when I saw y'all together for the first time, I was like, all right, they got something.
Yeah.
They can communicate well. They're passionate about this. So I was like, well, if you want to do this right, we got to get some more angles.
Yeah.
The audio's there. Y'all look good. The swag's there.
Yeah.
But yeah, throwing it together was fun. It's been a long 24 hours.
Yeah.
But we're ready for it.
Yeah, man. It's like I said, we're all learning, and we're gonna get better and better each time, and with the production. So, y'all bear with us as we learn. But we're always gonna bring this great content. Me and Will had a fun Saturday watching football. We went to our buddy's camp, Billy Braz, and hunting camp. And a couple of us buddies, and man, we watched football, and we had a time, and we cooked, and we did pretty good.
Ain't no doubt.
We did pretty good. 8-2 on the predictions, and I told y'all I was grabbing the wire with Ole Miss, and I went all in there. And Will went 6 and
6-2.
6-2. So we
I had the under.
Yep. But
It
5
wasn't looking very good early, but it
5
stalled
and
out.
4-0 on Saturday.
Yeah.
4-0 on Saturday. That's when we were all together. So y'all can imagine at the hunt camp with your boys, and you're winning and eating, cooking steaks. I mean, we had a time.
You don't want to be on the other side of we were hitting 4 in a row.
No.
Wield them together every which way.
We'll get to talking about our predictions and stuff like that. But first thing, I think we just recap the Auburn Ole Miss game. And to me, I felt like I was pretty spot on of how the game went. I did
on the money.
I did say, I thought 14-28, which we were up 14. I never was worried. The game went exactly kind of how I thought. They slowed the tempo down. They did give Ashford the ball right away, but they took him out right after the first, his first series, which I was a little surprised. I thought they would have let him, try to get into some rhythm, but they were back and forth all night, and they had a game plan to slow the tempo down, and they did. The first, 7-8 minutes of the game that's exactly what they did, and then boom, 21 points were scored in that end of that first quarter, but then it went right back on track, and Kiffin did exactly what I was thinking. He didn't try to go upbeat and play fast tempo. He just played how he thought the game should be played and get the W.
No doubt.
And I never was worried. Even when it was 14-14, I was not worried. We were playing good defense. And we were moving the ball. We were rushing. We had how many? 50-something rushing attempts.
56 rushing attempts.
56 rushing attempts and only 18 passing attempts. 10 out of 18
That's
and he
right.
dart throws for 202 yards, 20 yards attempt.
Mhm.
So he had a game plan, and it's hard. I told y'all how hard it is to play at Auburn, especially at night. That's what the cadence issues, the penalties, all those things are just such a huge factor.
I mean,
And
we couldn't even catch the ball to put it down to kick a field goal.
yeah,
And
yeah,
everybody's like, "How's that happen?" I'm like,
yeah,
"Dude, the ground's shaking.
yeah. It
Go down
is.
there and stand on that field when they're rumbling.
Yeah,
Can't even catch the
so
ball."
loud, and I've said that before. Just how important that is, and Kiffin keeps talking about it. Like I know what he wants to say about the Ole Miss crowd, and yes, we've gotten better, but I mean, it's got a long way to go to get to Auburn, LSU, Alabama, and that's where Kiffin wants us. And that's nothing but fans showing up and being loud.
No
And
doubt.
and I just said that last week was standing up and yelling, and the whole game. It means so much. He said, y'all want us to show up and play, we want y'all. So you know, just remember that. And when you go to these games, just get loud, stand up, and realize, for 3 hours, that's what I'm going to be doing. And I think that's how we're going to keep Kiffin.
No,
When he sees
we
that,
have to do that.
yeah, no doubt, no doubt. And so I felt like, is there any keys or anything you were thinking in the game? Um, I know there's a few little things we talked about when we were watching it. Uh, but is there anything you thought about the game that different than what I was saying or anything
Well, I
like
think
that?
we were getting ready to blow them out if we didn't throw that interception.
Yeah,
It's 14-7. We're pounding it down the field. He not only misses him wide open, but it tips to the guy. Then we missed a tackle. He returns it 50 yards and just flips the whole game.
yeah. Instead of going up 21-7.
And then, like you said, I think staff knew it was about to be a grind. We kind of slowed it down, changed our game plan up, and just put it in our defense's hands.
Yeah,
And, we played a lot. This team is so much like 2 years ago's team. They went to the Sugar Bowl.
yeah,
They come out, they think we're this high powered offense, which we look like it early, but down the stretch, we were winning all those games low scored. We started running the ball more. We started, counting on our defense, slowing it down, finding a way to win. And that's what this team feels like that to me.
yeah. What were you saying earlier when we were talking about? There was two games. You got LSU, and what was the other game where the other team scored a bunch? But besides
Yeah, if you
that,
take out, okay, I was telling you, our first game we play Wofford, we give up 7.
yeah,
Okay, you throw that game out.
yeah,
LSU, we give up 49. Isn't that right?
mm-hmm.
53-49 final. You throw those two games out, we've given up between 20 and 24 points in every other game.
Yeah,
Right there. 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So our defense, we're giving up 371 yards a game, but we're only giving up basically under a touchdown. Two field goals a quarter, we go up 5 points a quarter.
yeah.
So that's
Our defense
opportunistic defense
is
right there.
getting better.
I mean, we have 10 completions. We get 2 third downs and win on the road in the SEC pretty
Yeah.
easily.
That's I mean, that's good coaching, a good game plan, just like we said. And I think I think Kiffin's just getting so much better. Uh, and now he knows what happened last year. He had all that noise of if he's going to Auburn or not. Distraction. I don't care what anybody says. That's a distraction.
Huge distraction. It killed our mojo down the stretch last year. Even he knew it.
Yeah.
I mean, he basically had to come out and say it, 2 years ago about the LSU job.
Yeah.
Remember? It pissed him off so bad when they were getting rid of Orgeron. And we just, everybody assumed he was going there.
Yeah.
And, we killed him. And he came out after and said he was staying. And it helped us finish.
That's right.
And then the next year, we were on the cliffhanger last year.
Yeah.
But if he was going to
knew.
leave, it was going to be 2 years ago when every job in the country was open. There were 7 of the best jobs you could have. If he didn't leave, he's not leaving. I told everybody that.
I agree.
You had LSU open, you had USC open, you had Oklahoma open, you had Miami open. I can't even remember some of the other openings. It was the most ridiculous. It was like, how are we going to keep him? I didn't think we had a prayer.
Yeah.
But I think he wants to be there. I think he wants to build something like you said. That's why he got pissed. It was the Vanderbilt game 2 years ago when he got pissed off on that interview and was basically like, where'd everybody go?
Yeah.
There wasn't even
like it's not even
crowd
electric.
here. You look up in the second half, the whole stands were half empty. But the Grove that day had 1 million people in it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
he knew that.
And what he said in his press conference was, you know, how there was no electricity at that time, and he says, you know, we've gotten better, but it's just not. I just feel like it's we got a long way to go, and let's as fans, let's get there. So and that.
Well, I mean, look at the rest of the SEC. I mean, Tennessee, Auburn, LSU, Alabama, Georgia. Who wants to go in there and play at night?
Yeah. They said a stat last in the press conference that he didn't even know, that he is, and I think it's 5-2, might be 6-2 on road night games in the SEC.
Wow.
Yeah, and he said, man, I'm all into analytics, but that's a stat I didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's pretty impressive right there to go night games on the road, and he's 6-2 or 5-2. I have to double check and see which one was right, but you know, good game, good W, and now it's Vanderbilt, and at home, 6:30 night, which I know we would all probably like it to be the other way around. Of this probably be 11 o'clock, Texas A&M be the 6:30 night, but I don't know how all that plays out. I wish I do. You know, we're going to fight through it. That's where fans, these college students, that you know, looking ahead a little bit, which we're going to get to, not looking ahead, but that 11 o'clock Texas A&M game, these kids or whatever, I don't know, shut the bars down or something. I mean, these kids got to be there.
They're going to be looking to spoil our
those
season.
are hard games. That's where you lose your edge, is those 11 o'clock home games, especially if you're not some of those teams that where it's electric, and you're trying to get better at that.
We talked about it all week. I pray we don't play Georgia at night. Like, just put the game at 2:30.
Yeah, it should be. It should be if everything goes as planned. I would think that's going to be a 2:30 game, no doubt. But so Vanderbilt 6:30 this Saturday, and we have to get these players ready. And this is, to me, this is all on the coaches of letting them not look ahead. Coaches not looking ahead. Like Lane always says, go 1-0. And these players have to know how big every game is from now until the end of the year, because we have a chance. I know, I've had people when I've said that, like, you're crazy. And I'm like, and I'm never that way, hardly. I'm like, yeah, I'm probably falling into that mindset, it's Ole Miss, and I'm kind of getting where I hate that, because we've got to get better than that.
We're different now.
Yeah,
that's the difference between having Kiffin and being this modern day. It's not old Ole Miss anymore.
Yeah,
we're on the map now. People want to come to school there. Oxford's known. Our facilities are gotten better. We got the coaches. We got the money. I mean, it's time to go to the next step.
And
we're the only team that hadn't been to Atlanta.
Yeah.
Think about that. Yeah. That's unbelievable.
That is.
To think about.
Yeah, I didn't know that until I was talking to somebody the other day. They were talking about how awesome Atlanta would be in the crowd. You
become used to mediocrity, being a rebel. I've been a rebel my whole life.
Yeah.
You just get used to losing 2 or 3 games.
Yeah.
4 games. It's just a normal season.
Mm-hmm.
But the mindset, and that's what Kiffin's trying to get across. It's got to be a different mindset all the way through the fan base. Think about last week. I'm old school Ole Miss. I'm a nervous wreck. Me and Mikey sitting there, we're like, we can't go in there and win at night.
Yeah,
but you're like, we're way better. We're going to win the game.
Yeah, there were so many people that were trying to get me off Ole Miss, and I almost did. I swear, I almost did. And we were sitting there, and Mikey was, saying, it's Auburn at night and all this stuff. And I talked to a few other people, and then I finally was like, man, we're so much better than them.
Yeah.
We're so much better than them. And I kept saying Auburn's not that good, and I want the better team. And it was proven that it's hard to play at Auburn, but we still should have won the game by 14 points. We let them, in there right at the end. But it was never. I never was worried.
I think you can throw the old Ole Miss trend out the window now. We just busted it this past week. We're just different. It's not the same. Kiffin's he's that good.
Yeah, and that guy on your shirt right there, Dart. I mean, he's special, man.
Yeah. I mean, we got so much talent on this team. You could see it early. We didn't know how to mesh. That's why we weren't playing consistent, weren't playing good. This is the kind of team that they may be so much better in a month than they are today. That's why the bye week was huge. Winning was huge. This is almost like a practice game, but they got to keep getting better.
That's right.
They can't go lay down. They got to prove themselves they can play good for 4 quarters, improve in certain spots, and get better. They have to get better before they play Georgia. They have to keep getting better.
No doubt. And
you could see it in LSU. We peaked, especially offensively. And, I don't even look at defense in that game because that was just one of those games that was just going to be like that, like one of those old Arkansas games.
Yeah.
Well, our defense has proven that they can play.
Yeah.
I
mean, I like what Pete's doing.
I do too.
I mean, I think he's a great coach, and I think him and Kiffin just go together good.
I do too.
And they're just going to get better and better, and we keep buying into what they're doing, and these players buy in. We're going to win a national title. I think if as long as we keep what we got going.
I mean, you think about it this year, we're doing the guy at LSU a disservice by saying Dart's better than him.
Yeah.
I mean, that dude, if he's not one of the top 3 picks, I'm going to be shocked.
Yeah.
He's ridiculous. But he's 3 years older than Dart, too.
That's right.
I mean, go to the next best quarterback in the league. Who is it? I wouldn't take anybody else.
I wouldn't either.
I mean, no way I would take anybody else. If I had to pick, I would take LSU's quarterback.
Yeah.
But just because he can do it all. And like we said, he's going to be probably a top 3 pick. But Dart, look at those numbers, man. He's sneaking in. That's how you win in college. Coaches and quarterbacks.
Yeah.
We talked about it last week that's how you bust a trend.
Mm-hmm.
A good coach and a good quarterback.
Yeah.
And we got them both.
Yeah.
We talked about it last week. I mean, he's got a chance to win every game for us. I mean, look at the Tulane game. Look how we won that game. That was all him. It was awful. And then, boom, right at the very end. It's like he knew.
Yeah.
He was not scared.
And it was kind of that way in Auburn.
Yeah.
He hit that next gear and then bam, 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 bam.
We go down 2 scores against LSU and we go score, stop, score.
Yeah.
He's like it was never a doubt. I mean, Georgia, if he has the ball in the 4th quarter against Georgia, they're going to be a wreck over there. They're not going to stop him. They better hope we're not within 1 score at the end, or we're going to beat them.
Well, I think he's, focusing on having a big game against Vanderbilt and showing out a little bit.
He needs to. I mean, his numbers are getting up there, man. And we got a lot of games left. He's getting at 2,400 total yards about right now.
Yeah,
it's a lot of offense.
And so I think he's going to show out, and he's focused, and that's what we got to get every single player, focused this week and get this win. Don't let it, don't look ahead, and the fans, everybody, crowd, y'all come out. Let's get loud and get this W, and then we can move on.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's too much to talk about, like, what we're going to do against them or anything like that. It's just go out there, be focused. Coaches, get these players focused and not looking ahead. Get them to have just as much energy and excitement and wanting to go out there and just kill them.
Correct.
You know.
When you're the better team, you just play your game.
Yeah.
You don't do anything outside the box. I mean, that's like last week against the Tennessee-Alabama game. It started off, it looked horrible, but that's because Alabama was just playing their normal game, and Tennessee came out with all those in-game adjustments.
Yeah.
And Heupel's unbelievable. You know, why is Alabama going to come out and run wrinkles when they know they're better?
Yeah.
The worst team always runs the wrinkles. They
Yeah.
always run the trick plays. They come in and try to do something different.
Yeah.
You're never going to see a team that's 2 touchdowns better come out and not run their base offense. They're like, here we are, stop it. Yeah. Until you do, they're not going to adjust. That's why Alabama's won every game coming back at halftime this year. I think they've been ahead maybe 1 or 2 games.
Yeah,
they've been behind at half
every
game.
I know of 4 they've been behind, and they're just unbelievable. Saban's unbelievable at making.
He knows how good their defense is, and he's not going to come out early in the game and turn the ball over and turn it into a track meet.
Yeah.
I mean, just look at the Texas game. You feel like they got dominated. They didn't. He knew what team they had. They should have won that game. They gave up 17 points.
Yeah.
They couldn't score.
I want to kind of get into your predictions and kind of how we're going to kind of go with these predictions moving forward. And so we's more of the type that likes to play a few more games. And, first of all, this is just free advice. Free advice, use it however you want. We're not, telling you to do anything, but it's just free advice. And, we
this
like
is not a pick service.
Not a pick service. But
we however, we do put our own money where our mouth is. That's on right. Everything we talk about.
No doubt. So
if you want to join in, come on.
We's predictions, he's going to have more games. He likes to spread it out a little bit. And I've been going back and forth with him on kind of how I want to do my predictions. And, I told him, like, I just going to like picking one and slugging it, and it might be where I'm grabbing the wire. And I'm trying to tell y'all that's, the money line where you might have to put up more to win less. But it's like, I just want to I just want the better team, and sometimes not have to worry about that touchdown at the end, meaningless, something like that. So if I'll never go over, it'll always be less than 3-1, but it's trying to find games like that. And I definitely will still take spreads, but I mean,
if you're on the other side of somebody playing the way you do, that's the last thing you want. Is somebody smart enough to just put it on one game.
Yeah.
You want them to spread it out. You want me.
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah.
I mean, or you think you do.
Yeah. But there are professionals out there that play a ton of games, but it's because they know the thin value they have. And over a ton of games, they know they have that thin value. Just like with Billy Walters, one of the best in the world. And, he was just looking for that thin value. And it's more numbers and so much math. I mean, I don't know if I read his book, and he spills the beans on how he did it all. But, I mean, they
give every
crazy.
Player a point value. That's the craziest thing I've ever seen.
Everything they give a point value. Like things you wouldn't even think about. There's a point value, so in these predictions, you do have your really good professionals, but this is, mainly, not saying we won't get some good information, but mainly, us watching games, us figuring it out and going with what, kind of what we think. And, last week I just jumped on Ole Miss. The week before that, I was all over LSU. I'm kind of fading Auburn because they're just bad. Sometimes you can just go against bad teams.
Correct. I mean, you know the system.
Yeah.
The Mizpah system.
Yeah.
Owning against the same couple teams. You learn about them. You go on them. You go against them. You just stay involved in those couple games, that's how I do.
Yeah.
I pick my group. I learn about them. I watch them. I stay involved with that conference or group of teams that I feel like I got a good compass on. Yeah. And then I just stay in that that box with them.
Yeah.
And you know me, I'm always going to do it in pairs. I'm going to be 2 or I'm going to be 4.
Yeah.
And that's the money management thing, which we'll get more into that as
Yeah.
we work. You know, I'm an action player, but I also know how to manage money.
Yeah.
And I don't stray off my units much.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sticking right there.
Yeah.
With unit,
Well, we'll
unit
say
and a
that
half,
about
2 units.
Yeah.
And then always trying to build the wheel to the next cycle and then lay it off.
Yeah. You had Alabama
Alabama,
plus
Toledo.
-9.
Toledo minus 2.5. They were up 21-3. I think they ended up winning by a touchdown or something like that. Then I had under and Ole Miss Auburn.
Yep.
Which looked awful.
Yeah, right after the first
but it's
quarter.
Just like in the prediction. I was like, it's just gonna stall at some point. I don't know when.
Yep.
It just ain't gonna get there. I don't know why. Because we knew whoever got the lead was gonna chill.
Yeah, we knew what type of game it was going.
Mm-hmm. And those drives early was more about offensive efficiency, which we harped on last week. They were just making good drives.
Yeah.
And scoring, taking advantage, and then it just got a little ugly there late.
Yeah.
And then what was the last one? Florida State.
Yeah.
Same thing as Alabama. I was kind of expecting more of a domination the whole game, and it was one of those deals where the other team came out with a good plan, kind of hit them, and then once it started going back the other way, though, it just didn't stop, which is what I saw happen.
Florida State was minus
14 and
a half.
Yeah.
And Alabama minus 9.
I mean, they were getting dominated by Duke the whole game, and then it just turned, which Duke's quarterback was questionable the whole week, which is another reason I kind of liked it. But, I mean.
Yeah. Well, so, that's kind of going to be a session or whatever we're going to throw in here. And we're going to learn how to kind of get this flowing and have different sessions. And that's where sponsors will come in. And, do you want the Boyz prediction, prediction session? You want the recap, different things where we can throw these sponsors in and we can get the flow of the show how we want it,
Mm-hmm.
So we're definitely going to have that Boyz and Weeds prediction in every show, talk about it, and then like right now, kind of talk about what we think this week on some of our predictions. I've got a few that I like. The Ole Miss Vanderbilt line is Ole Miss minus 24.5 and the over and under 63.5.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going there. Like I think we get the W. I think we're gonna come out play great, and we should cover that. But it's just to me it's just too risky, and the money line's way too big. And you can look at different teasers, but I'm just going to stay away from.
Yeah, I mean, we could easily be up 30 points in the fourth quarter and pull some guys and make sure we're not getting people hurt, which I hope we're in that spot.
I hope, and I think that's the spot we're going to be in.
Yeah,
I really do.
I'd love to see us just go out and have a great half, play a little bit of the third quarter, and get some other guys in the game and make sure that we're freaking healthy, ready to go against A&M.
Yeah,
because that's going to be a dog fight. That's going to be a grind game. They're not really a great team to want to be playing the week before you play Georgia because they're real similar. Yeah. They're going to try to just grind us. Even though their offensive line's terrible this year. That's where they're weak. That's why they're no good. It's crazy. They got all those players and no line.
Yeah.
Which they've put a bunch of NFL linemen out the last couple of years, so I guess it's kind of hard to just keep doing one after another, but
Jimbo, just not a good coach.
He's awful.
He's awful. I can't.
I hope he stays there for the whole contract.
We can talk about that some other time, but me too.
My brother-in-law went there. He asked me when I was driving down Saturday. I called him, and he's like, "Who's replacing Jimbo?" I know. That's where I said, "Y'all really need to lose ugly coming in. Like y'all just need to get embarrassed. Best thing that ever happened to y'all." Y'all don't need to do like Auburn did with Malzahn and have those couple big wins, hold on for 2 more extra years, and then end up with somebody like freaking Harsons and put him in the tank.
Kiffin's always trolling Jimbo. I was talking to somebody the other day, and he's like swearing to me. That's where if y'all lose him, that's where Kiffin's going.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I don't know. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. But
I mean that job, he missed his chance. Now they got Oklahoma and Texas coming back in the SEC. Nobody's going to A&M.
Yeah.
over Oklahoma and Texas. I mean, think about how bad A&M was when they were in the Big 12. They couldn't
Yeah.
win 6 games because they couldn't get players.
Yeah.
Nobody's going there over. That school's
Yeah.
tough.
I didn't really think
I
about
mean,
that.
it's a military school.
Yeah.
I mean, it is. You got to be smart. I mean,
That's why
College
Johnny.
Station's down in the middle of freaking nowhere, man. Down there on the damn border.
That's why Paul Manziel wanted Johnny Manziel to go there, and then he gets there, and if you watch the documentary, um, and they kind of let Johnny do his own thing.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, man, I sent him because I wanted that structure and
Yeah.
everything, but even much money as he's making them, they
Yeah.
didn't care.
I mean, they can pay them whatever they want NIL. The players they're not going to make much if they're going to losing teams.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I agree.
They're still going to go play for a winner.
Yeah,
I mean, they got a good recruiting class, but they didn't do anything with it. I don't see them dominating recruiting at
No.
all now after what they did.
no.
I
not
mean,
at
how
all.
are they going to get somebody over Texas?
Yeah. Well, we kind of, went off track a little bit on the, talking about our predictions and stuff, but we got Oregon and Utah's the biggest game this week.
No, yeah.
And Georgia and Florida is the other.
Mm-hmm.
Georgia and Florida, 8 out of 9 last games been decided by 14 points or more. Georgia's won 5 out of the last 6. Like, I'm kind of not. I'm kind of staying away. But the one that's on my radar right now is this Oregon Utah,
Mm-hmm.
and for my grab the wire, and it's very similar to Ole Miss Auburn. Utah does have a good football team. Don't get me wrong, better than Auburn, but Oregon's going to Utah. Oregon is way better. I got some stats I wrote down about Oregon. Oregon 556 yards a game to Utah's 360. Pass 326 yards a game, rushing 227, 53% on third down, and Utah 161 yards pass and 183 yards rushing. So they, you can see, they're more of a rushing team. Defense, Oregon, they're right there in rushing, 24th, 95 yards a game. So they can defend. Utah is really good at defending the rush, but not so much the pass. So in Oregon, that's what Oregon does. They're balanced wise. They got 253 yards pass attempts. Oregon does, and Oregon has 233 rush attempts. So they it's very balanced, but it's more pass, and 200 out of 253 attempts completed. That's pretty impressive.
I mean, I watched the Oregon-Washington game a couple weeks ago. I thought Oregon was way better team.
Yes,
that was a
few
I
coaching
can't believe
mistakes.
they lost that game. I mean, they damn near dominated the whole game after the first quarter. It was. I think they're better. I still think they're better than Washington. I told you earlier today. I think Oregon is going to win the Pac-12 and make the playoff. I think a one-loss Pac-12 champ is in the playoff. So they're still teed up. They win out, they'll get to play Washington again.
Yeah, no doubt. And,
so I like that a lot.
So I was
Utah's their quarterback's out the rest of the year, even though the other guy played the last few weeks.
Yeah,
they can't score.
They can't. We watched them beat USC, and I just don't think USC's.
That's more USC than Utah.
Yeah,
USC's terrible.
Yeah, I just don't think. And that I think they're going to shut it down. Mm-hmm. They realize it. So hey, I feel like I can get the same value on Oregon as I did on Ole Miss. Right now it's 6.5. That could change, and they don't put money lines out quite as early. So if that thing jumped up to over more than 3-1, then I might. But
Utah's like Auburn; they're going to get 4 points advantage being at home at night. That place is really hard to play.
Yeah,
I mean their home record's ridiculous under that coach.
Well, that's another reason I'll grab the wire if I can get good value.
You're getting good value at 6.
Because I really think Oregon is the better team, and they'll get that W.
They know they can't lose again.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about them not showing up. I mean, that's Georgia guy. He's crazy. That guy's nuts. He passes out before the game. He screams so loud, he says.
Well, That's something I wanted to talk to you about and see what you thought. How do you think Kiffin, like he is offense, he's got a genius offensive mind. Okay, probably one of the best.
Don't underestimate what he knows about the other side of the ball too.
What he knows about
It's
the other
Monty's
side
son.
and how to, how to get the right players, recruiting wise and knowing what to look for. All that unbelievable. But getting kids like motivated and has that energetic, like I don't feel like he has that. You think there's other coaches in there that get them fired up, or I mean, what's your take on a coach that doesn't have that? Not gonna. I don't know. I would like to know if he's like
Yeah.
screaming or yelling. I don't see it.
I don't see that.
I
I don't
you
see
know
him being that motivational guy. He may
yeah
be way more than we know.
yeah
I feel like we could probably ask some people and find out, but I think he's probably going to be one of those coaches that counts on players to do that more than himself,
yeah.
even more than assistants, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because he's bringing in young guys. I mean, he's bringing in minds. He's not bringing in motivation guys.
Yeah.
You know, he didn't bring in our two coordinators to motivate people. He brought them in because he thinks they're smart some bitches.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think he's one of those guys going to count more on the players, which is scary, but also at the same time, you can be the greatest motivator ever if the players aren't following you. You know,
Yeah.
you got nothing. Which
That's
I feel
right.
like a lot of those old school coaches are losing the players. The modern day player doesn't want to hear all that
Yeah.
up in their face. You know, there's only one Kirby Smart.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
He's
that guy's
a nut.
unbelievable, man. You know he gets them fired up.
Yeah.
You know.
And Saban's more the type of just get in your ass.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a Belichick.
Yeah.
He's gonna talk about X's and O's. I think Kiffin's that way. I think
Yeah.
they're more like, okay, here's making sure don't forget this. It's like almost getting you ready for a basketball game. You're going more over your X's and O's than you are getting motivated.
Yeah. Like I'm
Which,
gonna show you what to do,
mm-hmm,
right? And groom you for the NFL and show you all these things. Your job to be focused and get ready.
yeah,
There's however that is. That's your job. I'm gonna show you everything to do, and we're gonna practice, and get it right. And it's your job. I'm gonna tell you a million times to get focused and to do
yeah.
these things, but I kind of.
Because I don't think he's opposed to jumping in your shit if you're not playing good.
Oh
So
no.
there's nothing wrong in my mind with a coach assuming a player is gonna be up and ready to go. You know what I
No,
mean?
that's right.
I mean, as an athlete, I don't need a coach to tell me to get fired up.
That's right.
If he was like questioning if I'm fired up or not, I'd be like, "You lost your damn mind, man. I've been ready to
Yeah,
go."
yeah.
You know what I mean? So as a coach, I'm sure he's got
Getting too fired up's a problem
I
too.
mean,
I used to do that in golf tournaments. I know of getting and PGA Tour golfers talk about this about majors of trying to get too hyped up
yeah, getting
for
through that
that
expectation.
majors, and that's what's the difference in major week is they're getting too hyped up. They do things differently,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to have that same type of routine that you build around leading up to a major.
Yeah,
But these games every game is a major
I feel like if you look
in
back through
football.
time, the greatest coaches are more like him. They're like calculating. They don't have to say anything. They're just completely in charge.
Yeah.
You know, look at like Bill Walsh. I mean, look at Belichick. I don't see him pregame speaking.
No, I
I
agree.
see him like, I have the better game plan.
Yeah, that's right.
I have my players more ready.
If you can't get fired up to go out there on your own, then it's a problem.
Correct.
That's a problem. It makes sense. And just sitting here talking about it, makes a lot more sense.
Mhm.
Because I've been saying, oh, see, I'll give them and get them fired up and this and that. But you're right. You're
Yeah.
100% right.
Mhm.
And I think he will be one of the top college coaches of all time. I
do
mean,
too.
I think that, and I've I've had my doubts and had other people, and there's a lot of great ones, but I think it's growing
Yeah.
on me, and there's a lot of good ones.
Yeah. The only doubt
Yeah.
I had is I was just convinced he was just here to not stay.
Yeah,
You know,
that's right.
I didn't get myself overly excited. I'm like, he's just going, if he turns us around, he's jumping the ship anyway.
Yeah,
It's just going to be, what's the point of getting fired up? He's
Mhm.
just, this is a stepping stone job.
yeah,
But now that we've made it through that wave, I mean, like we said 2 years ago, what job in college would he possibly want? He's coached USC, he's coached Tennessee. I mean, USC's one of the most, and they got the best college
yeah.
football program in the history. They've got more Heisman winners. I mean, it's unbelievable.
But it's been going down, and they're
Yeah.
trying to build it back up. But I just think that's California mess.
Yeah.
I ain't get into all.
But
of
I'm
it.
just saying, he's coached at every place you could want to coach in college.
Yeah.
You know he's not going to go to Alabama and replace Saban.
No.
So I mean, what's left?
And I would be, if I was a coach, and I took a program like this and turned it into that. I mean, to me, it would mean so much more.
Yeah.
Than going to, Texas, Oklahoma. I mean, how much more can you get paid?
No kidding.
Anyway,
we can pay him.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't. He's right there in that window. He's not going to get much more.
No doubt.
I think the only thing he may want to do is go take over his own NFL team one day. But you would have to ask him about that.
Yeah.
You don't really know what his personal goals are.
Well, maybe we can get him on here one day.
We will.
That was a nice little setup.
Yeah, maybe we can get him on here one day. We'll see. We'll start with one of the other coaches if that's it. We'll get, but maybe we can get him on here, and that would be awesome. We're gonna get a lot of guests.
his brain for sure.
Yeah, we're gonna get a lot of guests. We're trying to make sure that we get all this set up and everything correct before we get that guest. And I talked to I messaged Jordan Tamu, and he said we were going to do a phone in. He said, just let me know.
Mhm.
I'm in. And we got the capability right now to do with this new equipment that Travis got, to do a phone in, and you get to see him, and you have all these angles. Like right now, we got 1, 2, 3, 4 different camera angles, and then when they call in, it's going to pop up on the screen. So I think we're not far from that, and getting there and getting those guests.
Where you at, Marshall?
Yeah,
We
where you at,
coming for you,
Marshall? I know we can land Marshall. All we gotta do is call our boy, and he'll call him, and he'll be here.
I told
Because
you that's who I
basketball's
want.
coming.
That's who I want to be the first guest.
Yeah, and we'll let you be unfiltered. I know you. I listened to Marshall and Henderson, who we're talking about, and Coach Beard. They did a little podcast earlier this year, and he had to kind of hold back a little bit. Marshall, we'll let you go if you want to. We'll let you go, and we'll go with you. So I think that'll be a good one because we got basketball coming up.
Yeah,
it's
NBA
here.
NBA started last night.
Yeah. NBA started last night, and I think we play November the 6th is our first game.
Mm-hmm.
Beard's been, we had
a big
love
scrimmage
that guy,
on Friday.
I got to go hang out with Coach Beard over on Buddy Lee's house, who owns Funky's. I love Funky's.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, best pizza, best bar, and but I got to go over there for a golf tournament, and we just got to hang out. And Kendi was there, and we just sat on the back porch. He was just like one of us.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, if I wouldn't have known he was the Ole Miss basketball coach, I would have just thought he's one of our buddies, hanging out, having a good time, and I love that about him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think in basketball it means a lot more.
No doubt.
To have that type of relationship.
It's got to have a bond. I
Yeah.
mean, you got to have it's all about coaching players.
Yeah.
It's just 5 people working as a unit with a coach.
Yeah. And Will knows a lot more about basketball than I do. He was really good in high school, and I could shoot the setup 3.
Oh, you can shoot.
You get off the ground about that high, little setup 3. I got the 3.
You're always you'll go shoot free throws. You'll go play gin. You'll go shoot some pool.
Yep.
Bozzy will always give you a chance to get even.
Oh no doubt, no doubt. So I'm looking forward to basketball and all kind of different different things we can do with this. But what about have a little golf match yesterday?
We did. We had
Yeah,
a
we don't have to
little.
say no names,
We
but
had a little grudge here
yeah,
locally.
yeah,
Me and Mikey had a had to whip up on a few boys.
y'all cut them up pretty good.
We cut them up pretty good. It was a good match for about 15, 16 holes, and then it got out of hand
Yeah,
on the last 8 or 9.
how'd you hit it?
I only finished 2 out of the first 6 holes, but I did birdie both of those holes. You're welcome, Mikey. But then I played pretty good the rest of the day.
Yeah,
So,
well, we're gonna. I was trying to get out there with Will. I had to go do a lot of things at his place and a few other things, pick up stuff for us, and I wanted to get out there, get some live footage of him, you know, swinging when I wasn't able to make it, and so we can get some footage like that for intros and content stuff like that, which we'll get. It's like you were saying earlier. What we're gonna do is we're gonna have live of some of these matches. The guys that don't mind it. There's some that don't want anybody knowing and all that stuff. That's fine. But we'll call people out, and come on. Will's already said, look, if you want to play, we're not hard to find, and
come on with it.
He doesn't care who it is, So you were watching the bar stools of the guys that did the live match, just terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible. How many views it got. Like, y'all want to see some real golf and some real gambling, we can give them that, So I think that's a lot of things that we can do. And, hey, he'll challenge, Portnoy Mints. Y'all get somebody, and I'm pretty sure he'll put up a pretty good chunk or buy a bunch of the brick watches. We're still on the brick watches trying to get
NIL money. We need some money, baby.
I was on that earlier, and I want the best for Ole Miss. So I'm rooting for Ben. I did call him out in the boxing match, and the more I thought about that, like just to get something going, maybe I could get him to bite.
Oh yeah.
Because it's just get it out there so people buy it. We're gonna buy a brick watch, and
Mitzi's a rebel.
Mitzi's
like
a
us.
rebel, man. I mean, look, that guy's so nice, man. I played poker with him, and he loves Widespread Panic. Will, him. There's no telling how many shows they've both been to. They probably got the all-time record. But but I was like, who I want to call out boxing, and it's Brandon Walker. I mean, I just he's got a face I want to punch. I mean, that guy. I mean, if y'all go watch him. I mean, he was down in LSU. They did their show there, and that's the type of show that we're gonna get at Oxford. Now, it is rated R.
Yeah.
So I know it's not gonna be. They're gonna have to do it off site somewhere.
For sure.
But how he was talking and talks about Ole Miss and talks about and just like he just hates everybody and this and that. I'm like, okay, that's who.
Yeah.
Brandon. Anybody listening that listens to this, y'all tell him we can do us a little boxing match.
And let me explain something to the Mississippi State fans out there. Real Ole Miss fans do not give a shit about Mississippi State. We want to beat LSU. Hence, go to hell LSU, every home game. It ain't go to hell Mississippi State.
Yeah.
I mean, don't even talk smack to us. We don't care.
Yeah.
They need to go find a rival. They're not ours.
I agree.
Not a real Ole Miss fan. I mean,
agree.
The game we wanted to win, we already won.
Yeah.
It's the Egg Bowl's not our Super Bowl every year. It
Yeah.
drives me crazy.
And you got some.
And I'm not saying we're better than State.
Yeah.
They beat us just as much as we beat them.
That's right.
They're good in football. I actually like it when they're good.
I do too.
I feel like when they're good, we're good.
Yep.
When they're recruiting well, we're recruiting
and
well.
it's Mississippi. I know there's some that just can't stand them and all that. Whatever, die hard, just whatever. But like we said, we're about Mississippi, so yeah, we're definitely rebels. But we're not. I'm not gonna hate on them. I ain't
No.
gonna.
I don't want to see a Mississippi
you know.
kid go to Alabama or LSU.
Yeah.
I'd rather see him go to state. In the way you become good in college football, like Alabama and Georgia, is you have to dominate your own state to create the depth.
That's right.
That's where you get your depth. You have to get the in-state kids to stay. Mississippi, we got Southern and state to recruit against in this small little state. It goes to show you how good high school football is in Mississippi. It's really unbelievable how good the players that come out of Mississippi are
Talent.
compared to a lot of the other states that are bigger. It's like baseball.
Yeah.
Look at our travel baseball system. That's why State, Ole Miss, and
Golf.
Southern are good. And yeah, we're farming out of golf now. We got
yeah.
VJ up there, and we got some damn good teachers.
How many we got on tour right now from Mississippi? We got Wilson
Buckley.
Furr just got his.
Congratulations, by the way,
yeah,
Wilson.
Congratulations. He's been grinding. He grinded it out.
You're going to be the one.
Yeah.
Everybody's already known.
He's an athlete.
They made the kid stop playing football in 8th grade at JA because he was going to start at quarterback on the varsity team.
Yeah.
And he was so good, they made him stop. It was just like the kid at MRA that graduated last year, the basketball player. You should see the kid play football.
Yeah.
I mean, he runs like a 4.3, and he's unbelievable.
Yeah. So Wilson Furr, I mean, just unbelievable talent.
Then we got Hayden
Buckley. Wilson's from around Jackson area.
Yeah, he went to
then,
JA.
And you got Hayden Buckley from around Tupelo. And Hayden, man, I'm a member out at Tupelo Country Club, and that's where I play golf. And so I've seen him out there and talked to him, and that guy grinds and practices, and which he doesn't live there anymore. But when he was coming, trying to get that card and all that, man, I was like, man, that guy's gonna make it because he knows what it takes.
Well, also too, go look at his total driving.
Oh, he's the best.
You can't hit the
ball.
T-ball that good, and he can't hardly play back from where he hits it.
Yeah, no, he's one of the best drivers out there. And then we
got Davis Riley.
Davis Riley from Hattiesburg.
And then we got Ogletree, who just got back on LIV. Yep,
I feel like we're missing somebody. Chad Ramey.
Chad Ramey,
which is that where he's from, pumps out the talent, and that's is it New Albany?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, pro baseball players. They got the girl that's on the LPGA right now, I believe, played at Mississippi State. So I mean, we got Mississippi puts out some talent, man.
Yeah.
And we're starting to see it, and that's where he's kind of getting at with these football players. It's here, and I feel like I would love to talk to Coach Malloy, our golf coach, and see how, who we got Collins Trolio, VJ's son, on the Ole Miss golf team now. I don't know how many other Mississippi boys, but recruiting wise,
we got the other kid from up there at Oak Hill too. I think it's Wilson. Last name's Wilson.
They put out some players, man. VJ putting them out.
Oh yeah, I mean Oak Hill's high school team the last few years has been as good as most college teams that are outside the top 20. I mean they shoot 8, 10, 12 under as a team every week.
Yeah. Well, that's just Mississippi has a lot of talent, and that's kind of where we're getting at, and kind of how we got. We start here. We start talking about this, and we kind of get to different things, and that's what this is about. Is Mississippi, and we can't say it enough.